hotting up in the rugby universe, and today we speak to a rugby fan with a difference. He happens to also be a pretty decent cricketer. In fact, he's probably had one of the best years anyone could dream of. About a year ago, you might not have known about Rassie van der Dussen unless you've been following local cricket very closely. He's played cricket in all kinds of interesting places, the Caribbean, Canada. Of course, he was a starring player for the Jozi Stars earlier this year in our T20 Mzansi Super League. He's just had great success earlier this week, actually on Sunday, in that local T20 challenge. And today we're chatting to him about his love of rugby. We're getting him to select a 7-side consisting of his Proteas colleagues. But perhaps you just need a little intro if you haven't gotten up close and personal with the guy just yet.
It's not every day that you get to live your dream. You don't always get a second chance, but when you do, you grab it with both hands. Hard work creates opportunities. Opportunities don't come often, but when they do, you give it your all to make them count.
Hashtag Protea Fire indeed. It's of course very close to that Cricket World Cup kick-off, and there's a lot of sporting action going on this year. Rassie is here to chat to us about all the stuff you can't Google. Rassie, it's lovely to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Tell me about just how big a rugby fan you are, because that is, of course, what we're into here on In Touch, and we'll get to the cricket.
Yeah, thanks, Elma. Really glad to be here. I am quite a big rugby fan. Mm-hmm. I love my Super Rugby. I love the Springboks. I've been following them for ages. I'm a Blue Bulls fan, so hailing from Pretoria originally. So yeah, no, it's exciting times now.
It's we're kind of really hotting up in terms of rugby. Your team plays the Crusaders, the defending champions, a very intimidating New Zealand, a Kiwi side at Loftusversveld, a great big Friday night fixture. Have you kind of grown up going to rugby a bit? Has that culture kind of crept into your sporting background?
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, rugby and cricket season in South Africa never coincide. So growing up rugby, we used to go to Loftus quite often and, you know, support the boys. Yeah, so, yeah, big game on Friday, Crusaders, back the boys.
Okay, well, if you are watching us live on Facebook, drop your comments down below. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Rassie, I'll definitely do so. If you're watching us on SuperSport 1, use that hashtag SSRugby and always keep in touch. You are now playing for the Lions and the Jozi Stars, so you must have a much stronger Joburg-leaning loyalty. Have the Lions not managed to recruit you to come over to the Red side?
I've met a few of the Lions rugby guys. Great guys. You know, our two franchises sort of walk hand in hand. I think there was a few of them at our game on Sunday at the final. Yeah. At the Wanderers. So, you know, I just come from Pretoria. So I've played in Joburg now for about 8 years. To be honest with you, in Super Rugby, I always just follow the South African side. So, you know, whoever the Stormers, Sharks, whoever it might be, if they're playing against the overseas side, I'm there behind them. So
you mentioned the fact that you've been playing for a while. You signed with the Lions back 2012. Yeah. Hey, so you have really been paying your dues in domestic cricket in South Africa. You've also played in some really interesting places. I mentioned a few of those. Tell me about some of the more interesting experiences you've had playing outside of the country.
Yeah, obviously the Caribbean. CPL I played last year, beautiful place, island, you know, everything you associate with island life and island living, you know, you sort of have to remind yourself that you're there to play cricket and not on a holiday. And the laid-back West Indian style doesn't help that cause, because the guys are out there every night and every day on the beach. Yeah, I also played in Canada, which was an interesting experience. North America, you know, cricket's not that big there yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, I've been playing in the UK a few years, Holland. I've been to India. I've been lucky to travel.
It's really interesting looking at the arc of your career, because becoming a Protea at the age of 29 must certainly have been a really, I think probably a healthy progression, because you've really had time to take a look around the international scene. You've played with some really big names along the way, and you seem so incredibly mature in that Proteas role. What is it like becoming a Protea?
Yeah, I think it was a dream come true. I mean, you know, every boy who plays cricket and sport in general, I suppose, wants to represent the country and have that Protea on the chest. And you know, for me, becoming later, it maybe is a good thing. I really learned my game and learned what I was about, playing domestic cricket for really long, and. You know, coming into the side, playing with guys who I've looked up to for so long, and just knowing that those guys back you and they sort of have confidence in your ability was a really big thing for me.
So I hear from Crystal Arnold that you train with a narrower bat. Am I giving away trade secrets here? Am I not allowed to share that?
No, that's quite a common thing. It's called a middling bat. I train with it selectively. She must just get the full story, maybe. Yeah, but it's basically a thinner bat, a smaller bat, which, I mean, it's logic that a smaller bat is harder to hit the ball. So, yeah, just to sharpen up those skills, soft skills in terms of batting, yeah.
And do you have other sports that you kind of... I've seen on some of the Lions videos in the past, you guys boxing and lifting weights, and I've heard stories of cricketers playing a bit of football as well in the warm-up. Is there a lot of interdisciplinary overlap? What other sports have you done? Do you feel like you maybe got a bit of a competitive edge thanks to anything?
Yeah, football in cricketing circles is massive. I mean, that's the warm-up game we all play. Some of the physios don't like it because some of the guys pick up a few injuries when they get too emotional while playing. But yeah, the guys love that. Boxing, obviously transferable skills there, quick feet and quick hands and reflexes, which I mean is cricket. Some CrossFit elements that we throw in there. I mean, in any sport, but especially in cricket where you're fielding and diving and running around a lot, you know, the complete athlete package, I suppose, has to be developed. So yeah, there's a few things. Obviously, ball sports, golf. A lot of the guys play golf. I play now and again, not too well, but I can hold my own.
Do you handicap?
Golf.
Okay.
No.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that on TV. But yeah, so no, there's a lot of transferable skills there.
Now, another thing my informant, Crystal Arnold, our guru of cricket, mentioned to me was that she knew that you were going to the Cricket World Cup before you did. We had that big announcement on SuperSport, and everyone was glued to their screens. When did you hear?
Including me, I was also glued to my screen. So that's the moment everyone else saw was the moment I saw. So I was sitting there with my wife, Laura, and you know, we sort of, yeah, that was the moment where she jumped up and down. I'm quite a reserved character. I try to be, but yeah, no, I had a fair feeling that I was going, but you can never really know. So obviously, when I saw my name there, it was a big moment.
So not a text. Nothing, no warning.
No, I think maybe CSA. That's a way of maybe keeping us sharp mentally, just to keep that mental toughness.
Okay, we're going to chat about that Cricket World Cup and the kit that the Proteas will be wearing shortly. Of course, we've had another kit announcement recently, and people have been buzzing about this kit particularly. I think it's quite nice, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We sent Lala Hirayama out to take a closer look, and you might learn a thing or two. Pay attention.
We're at one of our favorite places, World of Rugby, to see if we can get our hands on a 2019 Springbok Rugby World Cup jersey. Let's go see if they have a replica. The shirts have been allocated, and I see that this is the home, and yeah, this is the away shirt, and it is my size. Ha! Let's try these babies on, shall we? Let's go. Well, things we absolutely love about the jersey, of course, the Rugby World Cup logo on the right, the Protea on our left, because that's where our passion lies, and two very important dates on our shoulder. But I think there's room for one more, but my personal favorite. Everyone's been asking, where is the Springbok? But if you look a little closer, you'll see the outline of his face and his 2 golden horns around the neck. I think that's pretty special. Not a bad dummy. Well, here you have it. Over 100 scientists involved, over 4 years, with over 500 of these guys tried and tested. Looks pretty good. And the jersey? Well, it's not bad either. So don't forget to look out for the matchday kit, which will be available soon.
There you have it. Matchday kits, the topic of conversation. It's a pretty big year. We've got a Rugby World Cup, we've got a Cricket World Cup, we've got AFCON, we've got the FIFA Women's World Cup, plenty of national jerseys. A lot of people having their say on that Springbok jersey. Do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's quite traditional. I like the going back to the golden sort of whatever you call this collar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I like it. Yeah, that's for me. That's Springbok rugby. That's green, gold, white shorts.
Yeah, and it's nice and simple, and I love that hue of green. Now, you guys have gone a whole lot more adventurous. I tweeted actually that I really like the sleeves, and I feel like they're like the best part of this kit.
Yeah.
What is the jersey? You know, the experience of running out in the national colours. Does that ever get into your head a bit? Did you sometimes sit there in the change room and go, oh?
I sit everywhere and think that. Not only in the change room, but definitely when you put the jersey on, I mean, looking down at your chest and seeing that Protea it's the stuff dreams are made of. So, you know, I don't think I'll ever lose that sort of sense of wonder. And yeah, it's just an honor and a privilege, yeah.
There's a lot of talk in cricket about that kind of constant battle between the bucks, you know, guys playing for big money, and then the choice and the decision to play for your country. What does it mean to you to choose to play representative rugby, cricket for your country, and that kind of national pride that comes with it?
Look, I'm never going to judge guys who go overseas and look for greener pastures, I suppose, if you can say it like that, in terms of financial situation. For me, it's not something that I would ever consider. Like I said earlier, it's been a lifelong goal and dream to play for South Africa, and you know, I'm just that type of person to think that, you know, money will always be there, and you'll always have means to make more money, and but you know, you get one opportunity in your life to represent your country, and that's what it's all about for me.
Speaking of money, we love chatting to athletes about their pursuits outside of sport, and you have this really interesting business that you're part of, Freedom. You guys make caps and shades and slops, really cool looking flip-flops. Tell me about the cause behind it though, because it's not only a commercial concern.
Yeah. We started it, myself and a few guys, about 3 years ago, sort of on the side as a hobby, with the idea of just making nice, you know, wearable things, I suppose, for at a decent price for our friends and for people who know us, and it's really kicked off from that. And you know, me, I love the bush, and I grew up on the farm and whatever, and that conservation element has always been sort of in the back of my mind, and through Freedom we sort of give back a percentage of every sale to wildlife causes, and big and small. Big, obviously the rhino and all this stuff where everyone's involved in, but even small bird sanctuaries and stuff like that, which is a bit off the beaten track, but still people who give their daily lives to help and save animals who also need funding.
Wow, that's a really interesting cause and a pursuit, and it's really inspirational seeing you also doing something for the animals that we don't often hear of. Now, speaking of things we don't often hear of or see, Trevor Nyakane on a cricket pitch is probably one of the most entertaining things you've ever witnessed. We don't often get to see our Springboks taking on the Proteas, but we have been treated to a few choice performances over the years. Of the current crop of rugby players, who do you think would be able to perhaps rival you guys if we had to stage a match much like this one, Springboks Proteas?
I think Archie Snyman looks like a pretty tall guy. He might be able to extract a bit of bounce. The front rows always look quite daunting. I can imagine them standing in front of the wicket, bowling to them. It might be a bit intimidating.
Don't you think Skalk Brits looks like someone who might be able to hit a ball?
Yeah, definitely. Skalk Brits, I mean, he has the mouth to back it up as well. Going on his previous performance on the rugby field, you know, the guys would be too scared to say something back at him. But yeah, no, I mean, these guys are skilled athletes. I mean, it'll be interesting to come up against them.
Do you guys watch a lot of rugby when you're on tour, all of you together?
Yeah, definitely. Every time, whenever the Springboks are playing, or when it's local derbies, or you know, all the guys obviously from different backgrounds and different teams, and a bit of a rivalry there.
Who are the fans who can't laugh? Who are the rugby fans in the Proteas setup who can't get over a loss?
Yeah, he takes it a bit
too seriously.
Yeah, no, Dwayne Proteas is an avid Lions fan.
Oh,
you know,
really?
when they play, he's sort of glued in there and he's shouting instructions at them, and you know, we keep telling him they can't hear him. But yeah, there's a few guys. Yeah, myself, I'm quite reserved.
You seem to be the most reserved, chilled, even-tempered guy, which obviously serves you well in your career. Is there, if we asked your wife a vice that she would mention, if I said, listen, your husband looks like just the most darling guy?
I'm not sure if she'd agree with you necessarily. She always nags me to show more emotion.
Oh, really?
And to tell her more what I think. So that's something I'm working on with her, not necessarily for everyone else. But no, I'm chilled. What you see is what you get. Tell people I'm ridiculously laid back. So, and I suppose that goes through into my cricket. In sport, and when there's pressure on and millions of people watching you, the key is to stay calm and think clearly. And that's what I try and do. And I think my personality suits that.
Yeah, luckily it's not in short supply in your case.
Yeah.
Now, something that makes me lose my rag quite regularly, particularly when you have 2 draws in one weekend, is Super Brew. But if you are excellent at playing Super Brew, then here at SuperSport we have great news for you. Join the superhero pool and stand in line to win one of 42 Samsung Galaxy Note 9 smartphones. Vodacom Red subscribers can win exclusive prizes. Now, this weekend we have a pretty big battle on our hands. Of course, the top 2 sides. Bulls by, I'm guessing?
Yeah, no, definitely Bulls by 10. I think it'll be tight and up until the end, and then the Bulls will get an intercept or something like that. That's what I'm seeing.
Maybe Dwayne van Meulen gets an intercept.
Again, yeah. Yeah, those backs will hunt him down. But yeah, no, Bulls by 10.
And your rugby brethren in the heart of Johannesburg, the Lions and the Waratahs, a replay of last year's semi-final.
Yeah, I think Lions are going to take it obviously at home. Altitude always sort of affects the overseas teams, so I back the boys from Joburg to take it. I haven't been following the Waratahs too closely, so I'm not too sure how their form is at the moment. But yeah.
At altitude, I would probably back the Lions.
Yeah. So
I think it's
that's
a
my call.
safe.
I'm not going to give a number.
Okay, you're not going to commit too hard.
No.
Now, I've noticed that since you arrived here a little earlier, you were quite at ease in the makeup room, and we have some guys who want to get in and out of there as quickly as possible, and others who really enjoy the attention. You guys often have these shoots. We sent our camera behind the scenes to go see what the Proteas are like when it's lights, camera, and action.
Nicely fitted,
not only are we bringing you every minute of the 2019 Cricket World Cup live and exclusive here on SuperSport, and, you know, plenty of Super Rugby action, it's also the London Sevens on the weekend of the 25th of May. Of course, Rassie and his colleagues will be busy playing their warm-ups at that stage just before we get to the Cricket World Cup kick-off, that big encounter with England, which is the one we're all getting ready for. So we asked Rassie if he had to select the Proteas side to go play a Sevens tournament. Maybe, you know, let's see how they fare against the Blitzboks. He says he backs his colleagues. Who did you select in your Proteas Sevens side?
Yeah, I started with Faf du Plessis, inspirational leader, which is in sports very important. You know, he's nimble, he's very athletic, dives, so he has a good dive on him, so finishing will be good. JP, man with the quickest feet I've ever seen in my life, good ball skills, very, very fast runner.
Yeah, David?
David will be a solid player. He'll go in the front row. KG will be on the wing. Markram will go in the front row with Quinny being the hooker.
Okay.
Nice and staunch and you know, solid. And then I'll have to fill in wherever needed. I'm only there because I chose the team. So, yeah.
Are you particularly good over the ball, or are you probably just going to stay on the wing?
I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, I would say, when it comes to rugby. I also can kick with both feet, so, you know, never know when that will be needed.
It's very useful.
Yeah, but I see myself as a distributor and not necessarily with the pace that these other guys have.
I think that this is something we should ask the powers that be for. Put that Sevens side up against you know, a relatively decent one, and see how we'll give you guys a 20-point head start and see how that goes.
At least. 21.
Thank you for joining us. All the best in England and Wales. We're so excited about seeing where this journey still takes you. You've certainly had a phenomenal year until now, and we hope that plenty of that luck carries you forward.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, well, that's Rassie van der Dussen. Make sure that you watch every minute of the rugby action this weekend, and we'll see you again same time, same place next week for another episode of In Touch. Cheers.